Northern Uganda is a place of incredible beauty and cruelty. It stares you in the face and can make you feel utterly helpless. Nowhere is that contrast more apparent than in the lives of girls and women. The last 20 years of war and terror were especially harsh. Kidnapped by the Lord's Resistance Army, a rebel militia, girls as young as 8 were forced to be sex slaves. Now back from the bush, these child mothers are forced to grow up fast. Beating back the stigma of single motherhood, they have their work cut out for them. But you won't meet anyone who works as hard as an African woman. Agnes is one of many working moms clearing the land so it can be plowed. She was abducted by the LRA soldiers at 14. Now 16, she has 2 children.
She escaped while there was fighting between the government army and the rebels. So by God's protection, she managed to escape unhurt.
What's most painful is the way these girls are seen by their own.
But the community, the neighbors fear her because they associate her that she's a killer. And that makes it very difficult for her.
But in these fields, Agnes is just like everyone else, something that gives her hope.
This group is very good because, first of all, it helps me to stay with other people who have the same problem like me.
Achan couldn't be more proud of these girls, working together to rebuild their land.
Seeing this girl doing this thing and their life changing positive is the source of my strength, because it's my desire that their life change from the time they come up from the LRA abduction to the time that where they are now. It is so encouraging, and it makes my work easy and give me peace in my life, because that's what my heart is, that these girls should get up from where they are and move another step.
To follow the footsteps of Achan is to get a window into the world of suffering. In northern Uganda, it's around every corner. Poverty is a scourge in many places, but here it's tainted with the trauma of war, one that robbed many of its children of innocence. Girls like Flo, who was abducted at the age of 9 by the Lord's Resistance Army.
The most difficult part of life is seeing dead bodies, because every moment there's fighting.
Forced into a so-called marriage, Flo became pregnant.
So she tried to escape, and when she was captured on the way again, and she was given about 100 slashes. She was beaten, and even she threatened to have miscarriage.
Although she later escaped, Flo still has the scars from that time. She also has a daughter, a little girl named Alice. Achan was the first face Flo saw when she returned.
When I first met Flo, she was really highly traumatized. You could even see from her face. She was scared of everybody. She didn't trust anybody at all.
Christian Counselling Fellowship was the first stop for many girls coming back. Many were unwelcome back home, seen as collaborators, not victims. As a single mom, Flo missed out on an education, but learned tailoring. Today, she's a wife and mother of 2. Still, it's not quite a happy ending.
Her husband loved her child so much, but her husband got another woman, the elderly woman, that he married before. Now this woman does not like her child. So every time she calls her all names, and she calls her that this child does not belong to this family.
But Flo works hard. Oh, God. Really hard, as I would find out, to create some normalcy for her girls.
I wish to have her children go to school, because she missed education because she was abducted.
At the Padere Girls Academy, there are many like Flo, those who were forced to grow up fast and now fight the stigma of being single mothers. But you won't find self-pity here. This traditional dance not only connects them with their past, but their present. At this school of second chances, girls can reinvent themselves. And there have been some miraculous transformations. Pauline is at the top of her class. Not long ago, she was in LRA leader Joseph Kony's inner circle.
I was 14 years.
You were 14 years old.
Yeah, and I was in senior 1 already. Oh. So they took me and we went to Congo from there they gave me a man as my husband. We stayed. I got pregnant from there, but during my delivery, I got a health problem.
Not only did her baby die, she was left with a fistula, a birth-related injury reparable only by surgery. As one of the top girls, she was taken to Nairobi for treatment.
So Pauline was so bright that she hid her passport, and there was no way they could allow her to pass from the international airport from Nairobi to go back to Sudan. So God put so much wisdom in her, and she was rescued.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that's how Pauline survived. Otherwise, she would not be here. She would be back in the bush.
Yeah.
So when we got contact with Pauline, I've been talking, we've been negotiating with UNICEF, been negotiating with the military to have Pauline back into the family.
And while Alice was and still is a big help to Pauline, she credits God for her new life. Why do you smile like this?
I just love it. I don't know. Maybe, you know, the happiness of God is in me. So I have to show it.
And in Africa, that means dancing, no matter what they've been through. Achan's life and work is rooted here, in these girls. But she's not alone. Her team of volunteers and social workers have the same passion.
The salary that they get is not worthy of the work they do, because the pain they see in the camp, the pain they see in the people, it builds so much in them.
This is where that beauty and cruelty intersect. And though resources are always needed, there's one that is especially vital.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to give, not money, but to give your heart to do something, or you give your heart to somebody. When you're committed to work with somebody, you have to give everything, especially your heart.